Audio Jungle.
Hi, I'm Ronojoy Mukherjee, and I'm delighted to bring to you another episode of Cars, where today I have with you the GLB 220D. Now, why GLB? Some people say it's been around forever, and Mercedes has introduced it some time back, but there have been some changes, some detailing here and there that has changed. And today we'll take a close look at this vehicle, which personally think is a great addition to anybody's family because after driving it and seeing its features, I thought that, this car is a great addition to any family, and we will see in a moment why. Of course, I will explain to you the exteriors, the interiors, the boot space, and everything. But hey, join me on another adventure as we check out the new Mercedes GLB 220D 4Matic. The exteriors speak typically the new design of Mercedes-Benz, whether it is this diamond type grille with this lovely slatted center and the big Mercedes logo, the smaller logo on the hood, and the front diffuser. I mean, it all looks very, very premium. The headlights have integrated daytime running lights built in, and of course, they are full LED. It says so here as well. High performance. Now, these wheels also look very nice, but I must tell you one thing, that these wheels are actually from the AMG line and are not native to this car. They have been changed specifically on this car. But what you get is also very nice design of alloys. These days, most cars have the indicator built into the mirror, so it's right there. Funnily, I could not find a request sensor. So if the key is in my pocket, I will still need to manually unlock the car, which is a little strange. But come to the satin aluminum top bars, this looks very nice. Uh, there's a lot of space at the back, which we'll show you later. But of course, the design language is very fluid. Down to the rear tail lamps. This one has 4Matic written on it because this is an all-wheel drive car. And of course, the boot is very big. I'll just open the boot and show it to you. Now, speaking about the dicky space, which I was talking about, if I just, let's say, it's of course got a power tailgate, no two ways about that. So this car is basically a seven-seater because you three people supposedly can sit in the middle row, and over here we have two more pop-up seats. All I need to do is pull this red tag, and to get this thing I just hold this and up she comes. Of course, they have their own headrests here. Similarly for this side, just need to pull the red tab and the seat locks into position. So this is where the seats are. Now I must show you a couple of other features. For example, if I drop the seats, because it will then be easier for you to see what I'm trying to get at. You have USB-C ports on both sides, which means that anyone sitting in the third row can charge their mobiles or any personal electronic items. Of course, you have a light here, and there is a luggage cover that also comes and fits in here. So this is what the boot space of the GLB 220D 4Matic is all about. And here I shall press this button to close the door. Interiors, of course, are typically Mercedes-Benz. You have this large screen here, which is split into two. One is for the infotainment, climate control, etc. The other, of course, is your instrumentation. Very clear, very crisp. Of course, Mercedes has now come to these amazing touch pads. I won't call it a pad, I'll call it more of a sensor. Touch pad here, touch sensor here. You have your phone controls, you have again, your infotainment controls, and of course, for the cruise control as well as the built-in computer, all the controls are here. You also have paddle shift for when you want to play F1 types, the typical Mercedes gear lever stock, and of course the one lever with all the functions, including your headlights, including your indicators and wipers, everything on just one stock. Typical Mercedes-Benz new generation blowers. Over here, the vents are lit up. You can't see them right now because it is daytime and you cannot see the lighting come through. But lighting tells me that you have millions of possibilities of illumination through the LEDs. You have a wireless charger here. So all I need to do is I need to put my phone here and it charges wirelessly. You can, of course, at some point close this. You have two cup holders here, and then this is the touchpad where I can try and write something. Over here, you have controls for the navigation, the infotainment again, cars and cameras, and of course, a very old Mercedes tradition, a star button, which means you can assign any input of your choice onto this. There is, of course, a glove box here with two more USB-C points, so enough of charging options in this car. You have a panoramic sunroof, and of course, this is a mixture of Alcantara and leather type of upholstery. So yes, overall, it's quite nice, quite comfy. Uh, a lit up glove box with a little shelf. And yes, the interior space is quite good. And as I just mentioned a moment ago, very comfortable. Safety wise, you of course have 6 airbags, you have an awesome sound system, and the usual suite of ESP, which is electronic stability program, ABS, anti lock braking, brake assist, and a myriad of other technologies which keeps you firmly on the road, or at least tries to keep you firmly on the road. Now let's sit at the back and see what the back is all about. The rear seats of this car are, of course, as comfortable as the front. But the thing is, if you're not driving, you can just sit, stretch your legs, and you have these scooped out front seats so that Mercedes has always made very comfortable seats, and the rear seats are no exception. If you're sitting at the back, then obviously you're not driving, and that is another level of comfort altogether. You have scooped out front seats with a little handy net here for storing items. Your air conditioning vents are here. There's a bit of a storage space here as well, and you have a USB-C point there, which you can use to charge your devices. This seat is, of course, you can slide back and forth. They slide independently. Uh, Isofix means you can put in child seats quite easily. And if there are only two people here, because as I said earlier, that if three people start sitting here, it'll become a squeeze. Then what you can do is you can easily put down a middle armrest. And not only that, you have cup holders here, which means you can easily keep your favorite beverage over here and have a sip as you get driven along in this fabulous vehicle. Let me show you the engine first before we take a drive. So this is a 2-liter engine which gives out about 190 horses. It is mated to a 8-speed dual clutch transmission. The petrol one, interestingly, has a 7-speed, whereas the diesel one has the 8-speed. Let me tell you, since this is the 4Matic, it means it has Mercedes's all-wheel drive system, which they have developed over a long period of time. So this is what the engine looks like, very compact, everything fitted in perfectly. So what we'll do now is we'll take a drive and see how true this engine holds to its own accord. But of course, this is a Mercedes and driving is an absolute pleasure. The diesel engine is slightly audible. You could hear it in the background probably. But of course, it's a very torquey motor. So even just the slightest input of the accelerator and she just leaps forward in a way. As I mentioned, the 8-speed automatic does its duty in keeping gear ratios wisely selected. And the car is also very economical. My own estimation is that in the city urban driving, it should give between 14 and 15 kilometers per liter of diesel at least. And on the highways, of course, you can expect a lot more. Overall, this car is a pleasure to drive. And bumps like that, which we just went through, they're taken on so well that you won't even notice it. It's very comfortable, it's spacious. Overall, I would give this car a thumbs up when it comes to driving. So now we have driven the GLB as well. We talked about the exterior, we talked about the interior, seating, everything. The next question that comes to mind is that what is the price of this car? So it ranges from about 63.8 or so, let's say 64 till about 70 lakhs. At that point of pricing, it may seem a trifle overpriced, but what you get for what is what you pay for. And I personally think that this is a great vehicle and worth every cent. Out of 10, I would give it at least 8.5 points. Thank you for joining me today in reviewing this car. And I look forward to introducing another good car to you very soon.